A man forces his way toward a parked car with a family inside, having no idea the father standing nearby is about to intervene. In May 2026, CCTV footage from a parking lot in the United States captured a suspect attempting to steal a vehicle with a family of 8 inside. Moments earlier, the suspect had crashed into 2 other vehicles and attempted to force his way into several parked cars nearby. As he struggled to take control of the vehicle, the father confronted him near the driver's side. After nearly a minute of struggle, the father drew his firearm and fired defensively, hitting the suspect. No injuries were reported among the family, and authorities are still working to identify the suspect. A man enters a jewelry shop pretending to be a customer, unaware that the shop owner is prepared to resist. In May 2022, CCTV footage from India captured a jewelry shop owner attending to his store alone when a man entered pretending to browse for ornaments. He requested to see gold chains and a ring, then sat down claiming he was waiting for his mother to complete the purchase. Confirming no one else was around, he suddenly drew a steel and attacked the owner attempting to snatch the ornaments. The shop owner resisted and defended himself despite sustaining injuries to his head and hand during the struggle. The suspect fled on his motorcycle but was identified through CCTV footage and vehicle registration records and apprehended within 24 hours. Always ensure your shop is not left unattended and install visible security cameras. Contact authorities immediately when suspicious individuals enter your premises. Your safety is always the priority. 2 masked men walk behind the counter of a convenience store, having no idea the clerk standing there is about to put up a fight. In August 2017, CCTV footage from a convenience store in Canada captured 2 suspects entering, one armed with a steel and the other with a bigger steel. As one suspect began collecting items, the other confronted the clerk, leading to a struggle over the steel. The second suspect joined in, striking the clerk with the steel, but he managed to knock the steel away and break free. He then ran outside and barricaded the doors, trapping the suspects inside until they eventually broke through the glass and fled. Police later arrested both suspects, and the clerk sustained only minor injuries. Hooded robbers storm into a jewelry store and begin smashing display cases, unknowing that an employee is armed inside. In July 2023, CCTV footage from the United States captured the premises of a jewelry store as 2 hooded robbers rushed from a car and entered the shop. They demanded compliance from everyone inside and began smashing glass shelves to steal valuables. The sudden noise and movement created panic, but an armed employee quickly recognized the danger. He fired defensively in their direction, forcing the robbers to abandon the robbery. As they ran back outside, they dropped the stolen items and fled without completing the operation. Staff and customers were left shaken but alive. Stores with valuable goods should use controlled entry, silent alarms, reinforced display cases, staff training, and clear procedures for sheltering customers. A man steps out of his parked car with the door still open, unaware that armed suspects nearby are about to target him. In April 2026, CCTV footage captured a busy city street where a man parked his car along the road and stepped outside with the door still open. 2 armed suspects walking nearby suddenly approached him, pointing a firearm in an attempt to rob him of his belongings. Sensing the danger, he quickly stepped back and drew his own firearm, firing defensively and striking one of the suspects. The remaining suspects panicked and fled the scene immediately without taking anything. The impacted suspect was left behind on the pavement as the others escaped on foot, and authorities were notified shortly after the incident. A man drives away from the bank after withdrawing cash, not realizing he is being trailed by armed suspects. In March 2026, CCTV footage from a restaurant in Nigeria captured armed suspects attacking a bank customer shortly after he arrived, having followed him from the bank where he withdrew a large sum of money. During the struggle, the suspects took the cash, but the victim managed to grab one of their firearms and fired defensively, impacting one suspect. The attackers fled the scene using the victim's vehicle, abandoning their own car nearby. Police recovered the firearm in the abandoned vehicle and an investigation into the suspects remains ongoing. Always remain aware of your surroundings after visiting a bank. Avoid stopping in isolated areas afterward, and contact authorities as soon as it is safe to do so. A customer inspects jewelry items closely, having no idea he is about to turn on the shop owner assisting him. In January 2013, CCTV footage from a jewelry shop captured a suspect posing as a customer while inspecting items on display. After signaling to the shop owner that he was ready to make a purchase, the owner approached to explain the items further. As the owner turned to retrieve additional pieces, the suspect attacked him from behind, leading to a prolonged physical struggle between the two. The owner eventually managed to reach the door and alert nearby security personnel and neighbors, who joined him in giving chase after the suspect fled the scene. Always remain cautious with customers handling valuable items, and if attacked, call for help immediately rather than engaging alone. Two men break into a home through a smashed window, having no clue the owner is watching their every move from his phone. In April 2016, CCTV footage from a home in the United States captured two suspects entering after breaking a window, unaware that the homeowner was viewing the footage live through a security app. He immediately contacted police and rushed home while officers responded to the scene. One suspect was arrested inside the house, while the other attempted to escape through a window and fled on foot. The homeowner joined police in the pursuit before the second suspect was also caught. Both suspects were later charged with multiple offenses related to the break-in. Always install a reliable security system in your home, and if you notice a break-in in progress, contact authorities immediately rather than confronting the suspects yourself. An armed robber attacks a cafe, unaware that a customer is sitting quietly nearby. Every move is being watched closely. In the United States, CCTV footage from a cafe captured an armed suspect approaching the counter and demanding that money be placed into a bag he was carrying while brandishing his firearm at the attendant. A customer seated nearby had already noticed the suspect's actions and quietly grabbed a chair from behind him, using it to strike him before he could react further. A physical struggle followed as the two grappled, and the suspect was eventually subdued and held down until police arrived and placed him under arrest at the scene. No injuries were reported among staff or customers during the incident. Always prioritize your safety during a robbery and avoid intervening directly unless you are certain the risk to yourself and others is minimal. Several robbers charge toward a store entrance and intercept the owner, closing the door, but he is prepared behind the counter. This CCTV footage captured the front of a store as a customer was leaving. The owner suddenly noticed several robbers charging toward the entrance and quickly tried to close the door. Before he could secure it, the suspects forced their way in and intercepted him. They entered the store with the intention of robbing it, creating fear and confusion inside. The owner moved back toward the counter, waited until the robbers approached, and then drew his firearm. He fired defensively in their direction, causing the group to flee and ending the robbery before they could empty the store. Businesses should install strong doors, entry alarms, cameras, and safe rooms so workers can retreat instead of confronting multiple attackers. Two men break into a home through a smashed window, having no clue the owner is watching their every move from his phone. In April 2016, CCTV footage from a home in the United States captured two suspects entering after breaking a window, unaware that the homeowner was viewing the footage live through a security app. He immediately contacted police and rushed home while officers responded to the scene. One suspect was arrested inside the house, while the other attempted to escape through a window and fled on foot. The homeowner joined police in the pursuit before the second suspect was also caught. Both suspects were later charged with multiple offenses related to the break-in. Always install a reliable security system in your home, and if you notice a break-in in progress, contact authorities immediately rather than confronting the suspects yourself. Two suspects walk into a pharmacy pretending to be armed, not realizing the clerk behind the counter is a trained martial artist. In September 2024, CCTV footage from a pharmacy in Brazil captured two suspects entering and threatening the clerk with what appeared to be a firearm, demanding cash from the register. As they attempted to flee after taking items from the shelves, the clerk confronted them, striking one suspect and bringing her to the ground before turning to subdue her accomplice. He restrained the second suspect and continued hitting him until officers arrived. It was later discovered that the weapon used to threaten the clerk was a length of metal pipe rather than a real firearm. Always prioritize your safety during a robbery and avoid physical confrontation unless you are certain the situation allows for it safely. A friendly reminder: kindly like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks a lot. An armed man walks casually into a phone store. Never imagine that the clerk is about to trap him inside during his own robbery. In April 2017, CCTV footage from a phone store in the United States captured a suspect entering and demanding that staff open the register. When the suspect stepped away from view, two employees and a customer quickly exited the store and locked the door behind them. Realizing he was trapped inside, the suspect fired his firearm at the lock multiple times but failed to break it. He struggled for several minutes before pleading with passers-by for help, none of whom assisted him. Police arrived shortly after and took him into custody without incident. Always prioritize your safety during a robbery, and if a safe opportunity arises, remove yourself and others from danger before contacting authorities. Two men force open a gate under cover of night, having no idea the house is fitted with a security system waiting to greet them. CCTV footage captured a quiet night as two suspects broke into a home after forcing a gate partly open with tools and crawling through the gap. As they entered, a security alarm began sounding and triggered the smoke system inside. One suspect attempted to climb the staircase but was forced back down by the thick smoke, unable to see or continue further. Unable to proceed, both suspects abandoned the break-in and left the property empty-handed. No injuries were reported, and the homeowner's security system prevented any items from being taken. Always invest in a reliable home security system and ensure alarms and smoke deterrents are properly maintained to help protect your property. Two robbers walk into a store and begin taking items under threat of a firearm, unaware that a military police officer is present. CCTV footage from Brazil captured a store where a customer stood at the counter while workers chatted behind it. Two armed robbers, a man and a woman, entered and began the operation. The male robber took the customer's bag at gunpoint while the female moved toward the cashier. The customer, who was a military police officer, waited for an opening, got up, and fired defensively at the male robber, neutralizing him instantly. The suspect still attempted to retaliate, forcing the officer to move away. The female accomplice took the bag and abandoned him, but the robbery was halted. During armed robberies, civilians should avoid sudden movements, observe details from safety, and let trained officers handle active threats whenever possible. A man works to get his motorcycle started on a busy street, unaware that two teenagers nearby are watching him closely. CCTV footage captured a busy city street where two suspects on a motorcycle parked beside a man who was attempting to start his own bike nearby. One suspect got off and attacked the man, taking his motorcycle in an attempt to flee the scene, unaware that an off-duty officer was observing the entire incident from a short distance away. The officer drew his firearm and fired defensively, catching one suspect who was unable to continue fleeing, while the second suspect abandoned the plan and fled on foot, leaving the stolen motorcycle behind. The impacted suspect was later confirmed to have not survived. Always remain calm during a robbery, avoid resisting suspects directly, and contact authorities as soon as it is safe to do so. Two men walk into an auto parts shop, having no clue the owner sitting in his office is about to fight back. In August 2015, CCTV footage from an auto parts shop in the United States captured two suspects entering, with one drawing a firearm on the owner while he was distracted. The suspect forced the owner to the ground, restraining him as the second suspect held a witness nearby. When both suspects became distracted, the witness and the second suspect ran off, allowing the owner to react. He wrestled the firearm away from the remaining suspect and fired defensively, catching him instantly. The owner sustained a gunshot wound during the struggle, but was expected to recover. Always prioritize your safety during a robbery and look for a safe opportunity to protect yourself if the situation allows. A man parks his car along the roadside, unaware that two suspects nearby are preparing to target him. CCTV footage from Mexico captured two suspects approaching a parked car in an attempt to carjack the driver inside. As one suspect tried to gain access to the vehicle, the driver, who was armed, quickly drew his firearm and fired defensively at close range. The suspects retreated in shock, but the driver continued firing defensively as he exited the vehicle to ensure the threat had passed. Both suspects then fled the scene on foot without taking anything from the car. No injuries were reported to the driver during the confrontation, and the incident was later reviewed by local authorities. Always remain calm if targeted while in your vehicle, keep your doors locked, and contact authorities as soon as it is safe to do so. An armed group enters a business shop, unaware that the attendant behind the counter will soon respond. CCTV footage captured a business shop where several armed suspects confronted the owner, demanding money and valuables from behind the counter. The owner initially cooperated, handing over cash from the register, but the suspects demanded more as one moved further inside to access the safe. Once they had collected everything of value, the shop attendant drew his firearm and fired defensively at the suspects as they attempted to leave. Some were caught and fell to the ground, while the others fled the scene on foot. Authorities were notified shortly after the incident, and no further threats were reported at the location. Always remain calm and comply during a robbery whenever possible, and contact authorities as soon as it is safe to do so. A masked man walks into a pharmacy demanding prescription drugs. Unknown to him, a customer nearby is about to intervene. In April 2014, CCTV footage from a pharmacy in the United States captured a masked suspect entering and threatening the clerk before moving to the back counter. He demanded prescription medication, implying he was armed by keeping his hand in his pocket, and staff complied by placing the items on the counter. As he demanded a bag to carry the items, a witness inside the store tackled him and held him down until officers arrived. It was later confirmed that the suspect was not carrying a firearm. He was also linked to a separate pharmacy robbery from earlier that year. Police advise against personally intervening in a robbery, urging the public to contact authorities immediately if they witness a crime in progress. Two robbers storm into a store, and one threatens the cashier with a tool, unmindful that a colleague will jump from behind. This CCTV footage captured the inside of a store where a cashier was stationed behind the counter. Two robbers suddenly stormed in, and one approached the counter with a tool while demanding compliance. The cashier appeared cornered as the robber leaned forward to intimidate him. Before the suspect could gain full control, a colleague from behind jumped on him and pulled him down. The accomplice immediately fled, leaving his partner behind. Another worker joined the struggle, helped disarm the robber, and held him on the floor until police could arrive, bringing the operation to an end. Staff should use panic alarms, buddy systems, clear escape paths, and training to delay robbers safely until law enforcement arrives. A masked man walks into a package store demanding everyone get down, having no idea an off-duty officer is working security nearby. CCTV footage from a package store in the United States captured a masked suspect entering and pointing his firearm at an employee while ordering customers to get down on the floor. Before he could even finish speaking, an off-duty officer working security at the store fired defensively at him without hesitation. The suspect fled the store, knocking over a customer on his way out the door before collapsing just outside the entrance. He was rushed to a hospital but did not survive. No other injuries were reported among staff or customers. Always remain calm during a robbery, follow instructions given by staff or security, and prioritize your safety above all else. A man sits inside his shop going about his day, unaware that someone is approaching quietly from behind him. CCTV footage captured a shop where an armed suspect approached the owner from behind, pointing his firearm at him and demanding money. As the owner turned, he attempted to grab the firearm from the suspect, but was unsuccessful. He then led the suspect toward another location within the shop, appearing to comply with his demands. While this was happening, another attendant quietly contacted the authorities. Meanwhile, the owner managed to disarm the suspect and forced him away from the premises without losing anything. Always remain calm during a robbery, and if possible, allow other staff to alert authorities discreetly rather than confronting the suspect directly. A friendly reminder: kindly like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks a lot. An armed man walks into a watch shop just as it opens, having no idea the owner is about to turn the tables on him. In April 2015, CCTV footage from a watch shop in Brazil captured a suspect entering shortly after opening and announcing a robbery while armed with a firearm. As another employee walked in and momentarily distracted him, the owner seized the opportunity to grab the firearm away from the suspect. A struggle followed between the two men, with shelves and displays knocked over during the confrontation. During the fight, the suspect was caught by defensive fire before the struggle ended. He was taken to the hospital for treatment before being processed and facing charges for the attempted robbery. Always remain calm during a robbery, and look for a safe opportunity to protect yourself only if the risk allows. A robber targets a passenger's bag aboard a public railway, unaware that the man would not let go so easily. CCTV footage, recorded in Chile, showed passengers boarding a public railway, each taking a seat while waiting for the train to depart. The robber walked in and sat down as a normal passenger, before later standing and moving toward a targeted position near a man seated with his bag. The moment the train stopped, he grabbed the bag in an attempt to run off with it, but the man held on tightly. They struggled toward the door entrance as an accomplice attempted to strike the victim, while others moved out in confusion. Fortunately, the robber was unable to secure the bag, and the man kept his belongings safe. Two robbers on a motorcycle target a parked car. Unbeknownst to them, they were being watched the entire time. This CCTV footage was captured in a quiet environment. The two robbers parked their motorcycle beside two cars with the intention of stealing from them. One dropped down and moved toward a parked car to remove its side mirror. Unknown to them, they were being watched by nearby residents. As the robbers attempted to flee, two men suddenly confronted them and pulled them off the motorcycle, causing them to fall. The men restrained them, brought them into a nearby residence for questioning, and later handed them over to security operators. The robbers left without achieving their aim. A robber pretends to buy something before becoming hostile at the register, unaware that employees inside will resist fiercely. In January 2026, CCTV footage from Brazil captured the inside of a store where a robber walked in pretending to buy something. At first, he behaved like an ordinary customer, but he soon became hostile and demanded money from the register. The cashier refused to comply, and a struggle began when the robber tried to stop her from drawing attention. A colleague emerged from inside the store, adding pressure on the suspect. The robber attempted to escape on his motorcycle, but nearby passers-by and bystanders intervened and stopped him before he could get away. Workers should greet customers alertly, keep counters clear, avoid blocking exits, and use silent alarms instead of escalating arguments with suspicious visitors. A robber enters a supermarket, posing as a customer, unaware that the shopkeeper will outsmart him at the door. In May 2023, CCTV footage recorded at a supermarket in England showed a robber walking in, acting as a normal customer browsing items. He approached the shopkeeper as if to purchase goods before pulling out his steel to demand money. The shopkeeper quickly moved outside and locked the door, trapping the robber inside the shop. As the robber tried to escape, the shopkeeper worked to close the outer roll-up door to seal him in. During the struggle, the robber attempted to slip beneath the door, allowing the shopkeeper to pin him under it until security operators arrived and made the arrest. Two men posing as customers approach a shop attendant, oblivious to the fact that a struggle was about to bring in unexpected help. In August 2025, CCTV footage recorded showed two men pretending to be customers at a shop as the attendant carried out his routine behind the counter. One of them moved behind the counter toward the attendant while his accomplice signaled him to stop, but he continued, brandishing his steel to demand money. The attendant stood and attempted to disarm him, sparking a struggle that the second robber soon joined. A colleague then arrived and intervened forcefully, striking the robbers as the attendant joined in as well. Together, they subdued the robbers and dragged them outside the shop. Always call for backup immediately during a robbery attempt rather than confronting armed individuals alone. A friendly reminder. Kindly like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks a lot. Two robbers on a motorcycle target a woman on the street, not realizing she had already hidden her phone. This CCTV footage captured an evening street scene as a woman stood by the roadside holding an umbrella. Two robbers on a motorcycle passed by and suddenly stopped nearby. One approached her with a firearm, demanding her belongings. Unknown to them, she had noticed their movement in advance and quickly hid her phone inside the umbrella. The robbers searched her front and back while she raised her hands to show she had nothing, keeping the phone concealed the entire time. With nothing to take, the robbers had no choice but to let her go and left without achieving their aim. Always stay alert to your surroundings and consider quick, discreet ways to protect valuables during a threat. Two armed robbers target a convenience shop, unaware that someone nearby was watching their every move. This CCTV footage captured a convenience shop during normal transactions when two armed robbers entered, targeting three female shopkeepers inside. They pointed their firearms and demanded money and valuables, prompting the women to begin gathering items from a wardrobe. An older man purchasing at the same time also had his phone taken. Unknown to the robbers, someone nearby had been watching the entire situation unfold. As they relaxed, believing they could leave with the stolen items, the observer fired defensively at them, causing the robbers to flee immediately without achieving their aim. Always remain calm during a robbery and let trained individuals or authorities handle the confrontation. A man walks to a hotel reception counter and pulls out a firearm, but the cashier is armed as well. In January 2023, CCTV footage from the United States captured the inside of a hotel reception area. A man walked calmly to the counter as if he were a guest needing service. Without warning, he pulled out a firearm and demanded money from the register. The cashier, who was also legally armed, quickly drew her handgun and pointed it toward him. The robber appeared shocked by the response and immediately fled from the reception area without taking anything. The swift defensive reaction stopped the robbery before it could turn into a hostage situation or violent confrontation. Hotels should keep front desks monitored, limit cash at registers, install panic buttons, and train staff to retreat when escape is safer. A thief sneaks into a shop while the shopkeeper dozes behind the counter, unaware how quickly the theft would go wrong. But the thief managed to escape on a motorcycle. Always secure cash storage properly and remain alert during quiet hours to help deter opportunistic theft attempts. Two armed robbers enter a shop and attempt to fire toward the shopkeeper, unaware that she would stand her ground and confront them. On January 31st, 2019, CCTV footage recorded in India showed that as the two lady shopkeepers were behind the counter doing their routine, suddenly two hooded robbers entered the shop armed with firearms. As they attempted to fire toward the woman behind the counter, she refused to be intimidated and confronted them directly instead of retreating. Her bold response caught the robbers off guard during the encounter. The footage captured the tense standoff as she stood her ground against the armed men throughout the incident. The robber then moved back toward the exit as she stood against them. Later, they fled the premises while the two ladies gave chase. Always prioritize personal safety during an armed robbery and avoid confrontation with armed individuals whenever possible. Three thieves break into a bank at night, having no idea that a passing police siren will do. In September 2023, this CCTV footage captured a bank in India on a quiet night near the street as three thieves broke through the locks and entered the premises at around 3:40 a.m. Then they began unlocking the entrance with their tools. As they attempted the robbery, they heard the siren of a nearby police patrol vehicle passing by. Startled by the sound, they immediately abandoned the attempt and fled the scene without taking anything. Police later reviewed the footage and registered a case, with further investigation into the incident currently underway. Always install audible alarm systems and maintain visible security measures to help deter break-ins during vulnerable hours. A robber targets a lady's pocket in a busy public area, unaware that someone nearby was watching closely. This CCTV footage was captured in a public place where people were going about their daily activities as usual. As people lined up to purchase items, a robber stood behind a lady who was distracted with her transaction nearby, gently removing the phone from her side pocket without her noticing. After completing the act, he attempted to move back calmly and leave the area with the phone in hand. Unknown to him, another man had witnessed the entire act unfold and suddenly grabbed him from behind, stopping him firmly before he could get away with the stolen phone. Always keep valuables secured in front pockets or bags and stay alert in crowded public spaces. A man with a steel jumps over a fast food counter to take cash, oblivious that the workers will soon attack him. This CCTV footage captured the inside of a fast food store where a man entered while pretending to be a customer. He approached two workers behind the counter and threatened them with a steel weapon. He then jumped into the counter area, opened the register, and began taking cash. While distracted, the workers saw an opportunity and attacked, disarming him and preventing his escape. The robber broke free briefly and threw items around the store before running out. Outside, other colleagues intercepted him and helped stop the operation before he could disappear with the stolen money. Restaurants should keep counters secured, reduce accessible cash, train workers to move away from weapons, and call police before pursuing suspects. An armed robber approaches a female tourist at a public center, oblivious to the fact that bystanders were about to step in. This CCTV footage, recorded in the United States, showed an attempted robbery targeting a female Colombian tourist. A man and woman stood separately at a tourist center when an armed robber suddenly appeared, holding a piece of steel and harassing her in an attempt to rob her. As she tried to protect herself, another man stepped in and struck the robber with a nearby item, prompting others to intervene as well. The robber was dragged out of the area while the woman quickly handed her bag to an agent for safekeeping. He later broke free and fled the scene empty-handed. Always seek help from those nearby and alert authorities quickly if you feel threatened in a public space. A man opens his door to find an armed intruder waiting, unaware how quickly the situation would turn. This CCTV footage captured a residential house as the occupant was in his room going about his normal activities. When the doorbell rang, he stood up to answer it, only to find someone pointing a firearm at him. The intruder pushed him with force, causing him to hit the television behind him before the two began struggling with each other. Within moments, the occupant managed to disarm the robber and take control of the firearm. The robber ended up on the ground, requesting to be taken to the hospital due to injuries sustained during the struggle. Always install a peephole or security camera at entry points to check visitors before opening the door. Two thieves worked together to distract a cashier at a supermarket, having no clue that a third armed man was about to interrupt their plan. This CCTV footage captured a supermarket as the cashier stood behind the counter while two thieves entered. One positioned himself in front of the cashier to create a distraction while his accomplice began stealing items and stuffing them into a bag. Coincidentally, another armed robber entered with a long firearm, causing the two thieves to run and hide. The armed robber then approached the cashier, grabbing him and demanding money. The minor thief attempted to lure him aside by throwing objects, and as he moved, they pushed him to the floor and onto a shelf, retrieved his firearm, handed it to the cashier, and fled the scene. Always remain calm during a robbery and let staff or authorities coordinate any response to armed individuals. An armed robber approaches men fueling their car with no idea that they were about to fight back together. In March 2019, CCTV footage captured a fuel filling station as several men filled their car with fuel at the nozzle. Suddenly, a car parked opposite them, and an armed robber stepped out, walking toward the group while brandishing his firearm. Before he could make his demand, one of the men grabbed him in an attempt to disarm him, and the others joined in, dragging him to the ground as he struggled to break free. An accomplice then arrived and pushed the men off him, allowing him to regain his footing. Both robbers moved toward their car, followed by the men, and eventually left the scene empty-handed. Always remain cautious during a robbery attempt and prioritize personal safety over confrontation with armed individuals. A friendly reminder. Kindly like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks a lot. A robber enters a store and points his firearm at the cashier, unaware that the cashier is also armed. CCTV footage from the United States captured the inside of a store where a cashier was working alone when a robber entered with what appeared to be a firearm. The suspect moved directly to the counter and demanded compliance. The cashier, who was also armed, drew his own firearm and pointed it at the robber. During the confrontation, he realized the suspect's weapon was fake. A struggle followed as the robber tried to flee, but the cashier stopped him and kept control of the situation. After warning the suspect, he eventually let him go, ending the attempted robbery. Treat every weapon as real until proven otherwise. Avoid chasing suspects, preserve evidence, and contact police as soon as the threat leaves. Two armed men storm a dental clinic demanding money, unaware that a patient inside was concealing his own firearm. In November 2021, CCTV footage captured a dental clinic as the doctor was treating a patient's tooth. Suddenly, two armed men entered, pushing the receptionist while demanding money. The doctor surrendered immediately, raising his hands, while the patient, realizing it was a robbery, lay on the floor pretending to comply. One of the robbers approached him and began searching his pockets, unaware that the patient was also armed. The patient managed to grab the robber and drew his own firearm, causing the robber to submit. As he moved toward the door, the other robber attacked him, but he subdued him, leaving both robbers on the floor. Always remain calm during a robbery and avoid unnecessary movement that could escalate the situation. An armed robber demands money from a convenience store cashier, never imagining that other staff members were about to step in. This CCTV footage, recorded in June 2025, captured a convenience store as a staff member worked behind the counter during her routine. Suddenly, an armed man entered, brandishing his firearm and demanding money. The cashier complied and began handing over the money as instructed. During this, another staff member rushed from the corner of the shop, grabbed the money, and began struggling with the robber. A second staff member quickly joined in, and together they dragged him to the ground. Others soon joined the effort, disarming him completely before authorities were called and arrived to make the arrest. Always alert authorities immediately during a robbery and avoid direct physical confrontation with armed individuals. A robber announces a holdup inside a cafe, but an off-duty officer among the customers is ready to intervene. In this CCTV footage, recorded in Brazil, a young man entered a cafe and announced a robbery while customers sat having coffee. Among them, an off-duty officer noticed the movement and calmly waited for the right moment to act. As the robber approached the cashier, the officer discreetly prepared himself, while his wife, seated beside him, quietly followed his lead without drawing attention. Taking advantage of a distracted moment, the officer stood, drew his firearm, and ordered the robber to surrender. The robber resisted, leading to an exchange of fire before he was caught and fell to the ground, surrendering shortly after. Always remain calm during an armed encounter and avoid handling weapons unless trained to do so safely. A cashier handed over cash to an armed man, unaware that the encounter was about to take an unexpected turn. In June 2019, CCTV footage captured a convenience store where the cashier was behind the counter carrying out his routine work when an armed man entered, brandishing his firearm and demanding money. The cashier complied, opening the register and handing over some cash. As the suspect turned to leave, a customer walked in, prompting him to target this new arrival too. He moved closer, pointing his firearm and demanding money, but the customer said he had none and stepped backward. As the suspect raised his firearm again, it accidentally discharged into his own leg, and he immediately limped out of the store. Always alert authorities immediately during a robbery and avoid direct physical confrontation with armed individuals. A shopkeeper catches a thief stealing from his store with no idea the situation would soon involve threats and police controversy. In February 2023, this CCTV footage captured a shop in the United Kingdom as an elderly shopkeeper caught a man stealing a packet of goods from his business. He chased the suspect down, apprehended him, and locked him inside the shop along with several other customers before calling police. The suspect reportedly began making threats to harm those inside by setting the shop on fire. Due to the safety risk this posed to other customers present, officers advised the shopkeeper to unlock the door and release the suspect. The man then left the scene, and no arrest was made in connection with the incident. Always prioritize personal safety over detaining a suspect and allow trained authorities to handle apprehension safely. A friendly reminder: kindly like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks a lot. A customer tries on a gold bracelet before fleeing a shop, never suspecting the cashier would chase her down. In January 2023, this CCTV footage captured a gold shop in Thailand. The attendant was behind the counter, and then a thief disguised as a real customer tried on a bracelet before bolting toward the exit with it. The shop assistant immediately gave chase and caught up to her as she attempted to start her motorcycle outside. She used a swift kick to stop the woman from escaping, knocking her off balance before subduing her with help from nearby officers. The suspect was then led back into the store and later taken to the police station for questioning regarding the attempted theft of the bracelet. Always alert store security or nearby authorities rather than pursuing a suspect directly during a theft attempt. The customer suddenly grabs another and holds her under the threat of a steal, but the cashier is ready to fight back. In October 2011, CCTV footage from the United Kingdom captured the inside of a store where a cashier was working while two customers stood nearby. One customer suddenly grabbed the other and held her under threat with a steel weapon, demanding compliance. The cashier reacted quickly and confronted him, creating a struggle that disrupted the attack. As the robber lost control, the cashier armed himself with a long steel object and chased him away from the victim and out of the store. The incident ended before the robber could cause further harm or escape with property. Store workers should have panic buttons, clear exits, safe distance training, and emergency procedures instead of relying on risky physical confrontation. A routine departure from a parking area takes a sudden and tense turn. Three armed men walk into a clothing store in Brazil, having no knowledge that the owner is watching their every move from upstairs. A man dressed as a delivery driver approaches a front door in the United States, having no idea the homeowner is about to fight back. CCTV footage captured a street in broad daylight as a car owner reversed his vehicle to leave the premises, not realizing what he was walking into. Two armed suspects arrive on motorcycles and one dismounts, approaching the driver's side and pointing his firearm directly at him, demanding full compliance. The driver, sensing their intention, reverses sharply and then rams his vehicle forward into the suspects. Startled by the response, both abandon their plan and flee on foot, leaving their motorcycle behind at the scene. A man stops at a kiosk for a quick purchase, having no idea that two suspects on a motorcycle are about to target him. In May 2024, CCTV footage from a kiosk in Argentina captured a man stepping out of his car and approaching the counter to make a purchase. Two suspects arrived on a motorcycle, and one dismounted, pointing a firearm at the man and demanding his belongings. The man resisted, and a struggle ensued. The suspects fired at close range, catching the man before mounting their motorcycle and fled the scene. Despite the impact, the man did not sustain any life-threatening damage and was confirmed to be out of danger. A woman pulls into her parking garage after a long drive home, having no idea she has been followed the entire way. CCTV footage captured a residential parking garage as a woman arrived home and drove into her space. Armed suspects pulled up behind her in a vehicle, and several men entered the garage, moving toward her car and attempting to open the door to force her out. She locked herself inside and, despite firearms being pointed at her, reversed sharply and rammed into the suspect's vehicle at the garage exit. Startled by her response, the robbers were thrown into disarray and fled the scene on foot, leaving empty-handed. A car slows at a busy junction, and a man on a motorcycle sees what he thinks is an easy opportunity. CCTV footage captured a busy street as a car owner slowed down at a junction, waiting for his turn to pass. An armed suspect on a motorcycle moves toward him, pointing his firearm at the driver and demanding compliance. Unknown to the suspect, the driver is armed. As the suspect closes in, the driver lowers his window and fires defensively. The suspect is caught and falls from his motorcycle as the driver speeds away. Other motorcyclists nearby rush over to assist him. If you are targeted by an armed robber while in your vehicle, stay calm, keep your windows up, and contact authorities as soon as it is safe to do so. Two robbers approach a woman at a gate on a deserted road, completely unaware that someone else is inside the vehicle. In January 2023, CCTV footage captured a lonely, deserted road where a female motorist stopped outside a gate and got out of her car. As she opened the gate and prepared to leave, another vehicle approached and stopped nearby. Two robbers got out, one armed with a firearm, and demanded that she comply. She immediately ran away from the danger. At that moment, another occupant from inside her car emerged and fired defensively toward the attackers. The robbers quickly retreated to their vehicle and fled, ending the attempted robbery before they could take control of the car. A friendly reminder: kindly like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks a lot. 4 armed men target a Brinks guard making a cash delivery, having no idea he is prepared to fight back. In December 2024, CCTV footage captured a Bank of America ATM location in the United States as a Brinks armored guard arrived to deliver cash to the machine. 4 armed suspects ambushed him, opening fire as he attempted to complete the delivery. The guard fired back, and the suspects fled the scene. One escaped in a waiting vehicle, while the remaining 3 carjacked a woman in a nearby parking lot before abandoning the stolen car shortly after. No injuries were reported, and the investigation remains ongoing. If you witness an armed confrontation in a public area, move away from the scene immediately and contact authorities as soon as it is safe to do so. An armed man walks into a local store in Scotland, having no idea what he is walking into. In June 2024, CCTV footage from a local store in the United Kingdom captured a masked suspect entering wearing a balaclava and brandishing a firearm at a staff member, demanding she fill a bag with money. She refused, then he climbed the counter to get access to it. As he reached the lady, quickly opened the safe, then alerted her colleagues, who rushed to her aid, climbing the ladder to fight the robber. Together, they wrestled the firearm from his hand, pulled off his balaclava, dragged him to the ground, and restrained him until police arrived. The suspect was later sentenced to 4 years and 8 months in prison. If you work in a retail environment, having a clear and agreed-upon response plan for robbery situations can help staff act quickly and minimize risk during an incident. A retired police officer out with his family becomes the target of 2 armed suspects, having no idea who they are dealing with. In March 2024, CCTV footage from Brazil captured a retired officer sitting outside his residential property. When 2 armed suspects approached, brandishing their firearms and demanding money and valuables. After collecting what the man had outside, they forced him back into the house, demanding more. The officer's son arrived and was also led inside by one of the suspects. As the robbers prepared to leave, the officer drew his firearm and fired defensively, striking one suspect while the other fled on foot. The officer was also caught during the exchange and taken to the hospital. The suspect who was struck did not survive. Always remain calm and comply during a robbery whenever possible. Avoid sudden movements and contact authorities as soon as it is safe to do so. An armed man walks into a busy convenience store, having no idea what he is walking into. In March 2024, CCTV footage from a convenience store in Brazil captured patrons sitting and conversing when an armed suspect entered, pointing his firearm at everyone present. Those inside complied, placing their valuables on the table as he moved to collect them. Unknown to the suspect, one of the seated individuals was armed. As the suspect made his way through the room, the man drew his firearm and fired defensively. The suspect was caught, fell, and was subsequently apprehended at the scene. Always remain calm during a robbery and avoid drawing attention to yourself. Contact authorities as soon as it is safe to do so. Two armed men walk into a small store with no knowledge of who is sitting among the customers. In August 2025, CCTV footage from a store in Peru captured two armed suspects entering wearing motorcycle helmets to conceal their faces. One pointed his firearm directly at a seated customer, while the other moved toward the secured area where the shopkeeper stood. Unknown to them, two plainclothes police officers were present among the customers. One officer drew his firearm and fired defensively, striking both suspects. One did not survive, while the other was apprehended shortly after attempting to flee. Neither the officers nor the shopkeeper sustained any injuries. Always remain calm and comply during a robbery whenever possible. Avoid sudden movements and contact authorities as soon as it is safe to do so. Robbers attempt to steal a taxi and intimidate its passenger, unmindful that a passerby is about to release her dog. In November 2024, CCTV footage from Brazil captured a neighborhood street where a taxi driver became the target of robbers. One suspect entered the taxi and tried to take control while intimidating the passenger and driver. The driver resisted as the situation became tense, and the robbers attempted to force the operation forward. A passerby noticed what was happening, rushed into her house, brought out her dog, and released it toward the suspects. The sudden intervention startled the robbers, who abandoned the robbery and fled from the taxi. The driver and passenger were spared further harm. Bystanders should avoid confrontation when possible, alert others, call police, record safely, and use distance or barriers to reduce personal risk. An armed man walks into a mini market in Brazil, having no idea the woman behind the register is about to respond. In August 2019, CCTV footage from a mini market in Brazil captured an older woman behind the counter attending to a customer while her husband stood nearby. Suddenly, an armed suspect entered the premises, threatening the husband before physically attacking him and dragging him to the floor. The 47-year-old woman at the register observed the situation and quietly retrieved her firearm. Waiting for the suspect to lower his guard, she fired defensively. The suspect was taken to the hospital, but did not survive. Authorities confirmed the woman acted in self-defense using a legally registered firearm, and she faced no charges as a result of the incident. Always remain calm and prioritize your safety during a robbery attempt. Avoid escalating a confrontation with armed individuals where possible, and contact authorities as soon as it is safe to do so. A friendly reminder: kindly like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks a lot. Three armed men walk into a clothing store in Brazil, having no knowledge that the owner is watching their every move from upstairs. In September 2022, CCTV footage from a clothing store in Brazil captured three armed suspects entering the premises. One closed the entrance door, while the others confronted a female staff member, pointing a firearm at her and emptying the register. Unknown to them, the owner had been monitoring the entire situation from upstairs via the store's camera system. He descended and fired defensively at the suspects. Two were caught and fell and were subsequently apprehended, while the third managed to flee. Neither the owner nor his staff members sustained any injuries. Always remain calm during a robbery and avoid drawing attention to yourself. Contact authorities as soon as it is safe to do so. An armed man walks into a smoke shop. Never imagine that the clerk behind the counter is about to respond. In October 2016, CCTV footage from a smoke shop in the United States captured, as the clerk was doing his routing, suddenly, an armed suspect entered the premises and pointed his firearm directly at the clerk behind the counter. Unknown to him, the clerk was also armed, immediately drew his own firearm, and the two exchanged gunfire. The suspect ducked to avoid being struck, fled through the front door, and rolled over a curb outside before disappearing from the scene. He was not apprehended by the police. It was later reported that the suspect had been impacted. If confronted by an armed robber in your workplace, stay calm and look for a safe opportunity to alert authorities without putting yourself or others at greater risk. Two robbers on a motorcycle pull firearms on a car entering a condominium, oblivious that the occupant has armed security. CCTV footage from Mexico captured the outside of a premises as a car approached and slowed near the entrance. A motorcycle carrying two robbers pulled up close to the vehicle. Both suspects drew firearms and tried to open the car door while demanding compliance from the occupant. The situation escalated quickly, but the occupant was armed and reacted by firing defensively toward them. The suspects panicked, stopped the robbery, and ran away, leaving their motorcycle behind at the scene. Their failed escape showed how quickly a planned attack can collapse when the target remains alert and prepared. Before stopping near gates or entrances, check mirrors, avoid distractions, keep doors locked, and drive away if an escape route is available. A man arrives at a pharmacy on a bicycle, armed with a steel. Little do they know the situation is about to shift. In February 2021, CCTV footage from a pharmacy in Brazil captured a suspect arriving on a bicycle and entering the premises armed with a steel. He announced the robbery and moved toward the counter, grabbing a mobile phone left on top. As he reached for the phone, the shopkeeper hurled a chair directly at him, knocking over nearby shelves in the process. Startled by the response, the suspect fled on foot, abandoning his bicycle outside. He was not identified by authorities. If you are targeted during a robbery, remain calm and prioritize your safety above all else. Contact authorities as soon as the suspect has left the area. A man walks along a quiet street, having no idea that an armed suspect across the road has already marked him as a target. In January 2025, CCTV footage from Colombia captured a quiet street as a man walked along the pavement. An armed suspect across the road rushed over, intercepted him, and threatened him with a steel, demanding his belongings. The suspect managed to snatch his briefcase, and a struggle broke out. As the suspect persisted with his threats, the man drew his firearm and fired defensively. The suspect was caught instantly and was unable to move. If you are targeted by an armed robber on the street, remain calm and comply wherever possible. Avoid prolonged physical confrontation and contact authorities as soon as it is safe to do so. Three men walk into a jewelry shop in the United Kingdom, having no idea their escape route is about to work against them. In April 2019, CCTV footage from a jewelry shop in the United Kingdom captured a suspect approaching the counter and handing over a piece of jewelry for valuation. As the female worker inspected it, he grabbed her from behind while two accomplices burst in and snatched jewelry from the display cabinets. The worker fled to a back room. One suspect forced the front door open and escaped, but the self-locking door closed behind him, trapping his two accomplices inside. After a frantic struggle with the door, both eventually managed to exit and were caught outside. If you work in a jewelry shop, ensure all staff are familiar with emergency door mechanisms and lockdown procedures to maintain control during a robbery. A motorcycle rider turns back toward a parked car and pulls out a firearm, but the driver is tactically prepared. This CCTV footage captured a neighborhood street where a car pulled over and parked beside the road. Moments later, a motorcycle rode past, then turned back after the rider noticed the vehicle. He stopped close to the driver's side, drew a firearm, and demanded compliance. The driver remained alert, created a brief opening, and produced his own legally carried firearm. He fired defensively toward the suspect, forcing the robber to abandon the attack and flee from the scene. The quick response halted the robbery before the driver was pulled from the vehicle or harmed. A masked man walks into a convenience store armed with a hatchet. Little did he know the clerk behind the counter was about to respond. In April 2019, CCTV footage from a convenience store in the United States captured a masked suspect entering and placing a steel on the counter, demanding compliance from the clerk. The clerk drew his firearm and contacted authorities. Caught off guard, the suspect dropped to his knees with his hands raised before abruptly fleeing the store empty-handed, leaving the steel behind. Authorities released the footage seeking tips to identify the suspect, who remained at large. If you are confronted by an armed individual in a store, avoid sudden movements and look for a safe opportunity to alert authorities without escalating the situation. 4 armed men walk into a bar. Little did they know that an off-duty police officer is seated among the patrons. In August 2023, CCTV footage from a bar in Brazil captured, as things were going on without warning, 4 armed suspects entering and announcing a robbery. An off-duty police officer present was pushed toward the kitchen area. Sensing the threat, he drew his firearm and fired defensively at one of the suspects. The suspect returned fire, catching the officer before falling to the ground. The officer was impacted but was discharged from hospital the following day. The remaining 3 suspects fled in a vehicle and were subsequently identified by authorities. Always remain calm and comply during a robbery whenever possible. Avoid sudden movements and contact authorities as soon as it is safe to do so. A man dressed as a delivery driver approaches a front door in the United States, having no idea the homeowner is about to fight back. In April 2023, CCTV footage from a residential property in the United States captured a suspect approaching the front door, disguised as a delivery driver and carrying a package. When the homeowner answered, the suspect kept up the act before suddenly rushing the door in an attempt to force his way inside. The homeowner pushed him back out of the doorway. The suspect, who was carrying a firearm, then fled to a waiting vehicle that sped away. Both suspects were subsequently arrested and faced multiple charges related to the attempted robbery. If someone you are not expecting comes to your door, avoid opening it fully and verify their identity before granting any access to your home. 2 men walk into a flower stall in Russia, having no idea the owner is about to catch them on their way out. In April 2024, CCTV footage from a flower stall in Russia captured 2 suspects attempting to take a bouquet and cash from the register while the owner was away from the counter. The owner returned and met them at the exit, spraying them in the face with a canister and locking them inside the stall. When the suspects emerged, the owner confronted and restrained them until police arrived. Both suspects were subsequently charged with attempted theft. It was later revealed that both had prior convictions for similar offenses. If you witness a theft in progress, focus on safely alerting authorities rather than physically intervening, as confrontations can quickly become unpredictable. A man chats with a woman in a parked car before returning with a firearm, unaware that an officer is observing nearby. In September 2024, CCTV footage captured the outside of a premises where a parked car became the target of a sudden attack. A man was seen speaking with a female motorist, then briefly leaving before returning with a firearm. He ordered her to open the door and struck the window repeatedly, trying to force his way in. The woman stayed inside as the situation escalated. A nearby police officer noticed the commotion, approached, and fired defensively in the suspect's direction. The man immediately fled, ending the threat before he could break into the vehicle. A woman drives through her gate after a routine trip, having no idea a group of armed men followed her all the way home. In August 2018, CCTV footage from a residential property captured a woman driving through her gate when a group of armed men followed her in. 3 suspects approached her vehicle, pointing firearms and attempting to force the car door open while she remained inside. She stayed calm, engaged the central lock, and reversed deliberately into the suspect's vehicle behind her. Startled, they attempted to drive away, but she rammed their car repeatedly until all occupants abandoned the vehicle and fled on foot. Authorities arrived shortly after to investigate. If followed into your property by suspicious vehicles, avoid exiting your car and activate your central lock immediately while seeking a safe way to alert authorities. Customer turns robber and draws his firearm to demand compliance, unknowing that another worker is crawling to get a firearm. This CCTV footage captured the inside of a store where a customer, a cashier, and another worker were present. The customer suddenly turned into a robber, pulled out a firearm, and demanded compliance from everyone nearby. While the cashier was being threatened, another worker quietly crawled from the counter area, trying to reach his own firearm. The robber noticed the movement and attempted to stop him, but the worker managed to produce the weapon first. He fired defensively, striking the robber and stopping the attack before the suspect could harm anyone or take control of the store. During robberies, hidden alarms, safe exits, and communication signals are safer than surprise confrontation unless handled by trained, lawful personnel.